Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'd like to welcome our speaker, Adam Gauthier.
Good morning, everyone. All right. Thank you so much for having me, Jonah. I really appreciate the invitation. This looks like a great group, and I'm definitely happy to speak about estate planning and also talk about giving speeches, how to become a better public speaker. When I was in law school, in my first year, I was in a moot court competition, and during the course of preparation for the moot court competition, I was doing very well. Moot court. So moot court is where it's basically a mock trial, where I represent one side, my opposing party represents the other side, there's a judge, there might be a jury. It's basically a way for attorneys in training to practice litigation and oral argument. So it was moot court. And during the course of events, I was practicing, I was doing well, but when it came time for the actual competition, and I had to get up in front of a real judge, I froze. I wasn't able to get the words out. I was stumbling, I was stuttering, I was sweating. I was doing all the things that you would do if you were unprepared or where you had stage fright. So I realized at that moment that if I was going to be an effective attorney, I wasn't going to be able to let this affect my performance. So in order to overcome it, you have to do something about it. If you just stand idly by, you're never going to overcome this fear. So I talked to my friends, my colleagues, went to the school, and they let me know that Toastmasters is who I need to go to. Toastmasters is an international organization that has groups and clubs around the world. It's been around for at least 50 years. And it will train you to become a better public speaker. So I thought, oh, okay, this is going to be easy. Well, it was easy making the decision to become a Toastmaster, but it's not easy becoming a better public speaker. Some of us have more to overcome than others. I was noticing as we were going around the room, I was looking for good examples of public speaking and potential bad examples of public speaking. I thought, for example, most of us, when we introduce ourselves, the thing that we run through most quickly is our own name. We know our name. Everyone else doesn't know your name. My name's Adam Gauthier. If I said, my name's Adam Gauthier, and I do estate planning, and I'm Gauthier estate planning, you can't really tell what I'm saying. So when you say your own name, we know it's familiar to you, but it's not familiar to the group. So slow down, take a minute, make sure to enunciate your name. Everybody's names are the most difficult thing anyway, so if you have a tough name, take some time, make sure to pronounce it. Also what you do. I know what I do. I can explain it in probably under 10 seconds, but maybe that's not the most effective way to get that message out there. Maybe I should slow it down a little bit. Pause for emphasis. I noticed that Brad did a good job of pausing for effect. So one of the things you're going to learn when you're in Toastmasters is the value of emphasizing certain things. And when you pause before you make your point, it's something that the group is going to eventually remember. They're not going to remember everything you said. They're probably going to remember under 5 things. So if you can pause at the right time and then make your point in an effective way, your business is rezoning. The reason I know that is because you paused for emphasis at the right time before you made your point. So that was a good use of pausing. Pausing is very important in public speaking. And where do you learn all these things? Toastmasters. Where are Toastmasters? What is Toastmasters? Like I said, it's been around forever. It's an international nonprofit. The fees are $50 twice a year at a high-end Century City club. So there's really a nominal fee. You meet anywhere from once a week, twice a month, and at the very least once a month. Our group, Century Plaza Toastmasters, meets twice a month, the first and third Thursday. It meets from 12 to 1 at the Hyatt Century Plaza Hotel. It's a great venue. It's a very professional atmosphere. It's like a boardroom setting usually. I've actually given a speech in the LA Ballroom, which seats 800 people. So you get an opportunity to challenge yourself and speak in a venue that would otherwise intimidate somebody who has never done it before. So how do you get to be a better public speaker? Toastmasters sets forth the whole plan for you. They give you all the tools you need to be successful. They set forth 10 speech projects that you're going to complete over the course of however long, hopefully sooner rather than later. But the way to get to be a better public speaker is by doing it, by practicing it, and by implementing the things that you've learned and the things that people have told you need to work on. So what happens in a Toastmasters meeting? There's several roles that are filled. The Toastmaster is the person who runs the meeting. So Jonah is our Toastmaster today. Very similar in a Toastmasters meeting. The Toastmaster would talk about what the agenda is going to be, talk about what roles are being filled, introduce the speakers, do the things that Jonah's doing. And he's doing a good job of it. There's also evaluators. So when I give a speech, you have a certain amount of time to speak in, 5 to 7 minutes. There's going to be somebody timing you to make sure you don't go over. And if you go over, they're going to let everybody know that you went over. There's also an awe counter and grammarian. There's somebody who will actually count the number of utterances of like, whatever it is that you have a problem with, they're going to let you know. If you're speaking too quickly, that's going to come up in the evaluation. If you're not enunciating, or if you're used a very eloquent usage of the English language, they're going to mention that as well. Some effective things that you've done. So it's not all about the negative. It's the sandwich approach. What do you do good? What do you need to work on? And what's like a take home? In the end, you end up learning a lot because the people who are in Toastmasters tend to have been going for a long time. And you wonder, why is this person even in here? They're an excellent public speaker. That wasn't always the case. It took a lot of work to get to that stage. So if you've been in Toastmasters I've been in it for 4 years. On day 1, I certainly was not as good as I am today. So it's just a course of events. And if you take these speech projects and you go in order, you're going to learn how to organize your speech better. You're going to learn how to speak to inform. You're going to learn how to be a better storyteller. What's one thing that every good speech has? It has a personal anecdote. It has a way for your client or your audience or whoever it is that you're connecting with to connect with you. So I told you about my situation in my moot court, and that's something that I overcame that I realized was an opportunity for my public speaking. That's how I chose to lead this speech. That's something that I'm hoping you're going to remember. And you're going to think back to yourself. I remember when I had to give a toast for my son's wedding or at the bar mitzvah, and I totally screwed it up, and everybody, they can't forget how bad I did. So maybe use that opportunity for yourself to be a reason to take action, because nobody's going to hand it to you on a silver platter. It does take work, but it's certainly something that everybody can do, and Toastmasters provides you the tools that you're going to need in order to effectively present. I thought that everybody did a pretty good job, actually. I didn't really see any real problem. I know Jonah had mentioned to me earlier that he speaks really fast. I think that in the certain aspects about talking about what you do and your name, there was a couple things that were a little bit too fast for me to understand. But I thought in general, when you were off the cuff, you didn't speak too fast. I thought you're definitely, your cadence is fast, but it wasn't too fast. Something to be mindful of, though. I thought everyone did a relatively good job, and everybody who is in business, who's in this room, you have to be able to sell yourself to a certain extent. I'm not a salesperson, but we're all in the business of selling what it is that we do. So if you can figure out an effective way to do it, you're going to be more better off, obviously. So I don't know exactly how much time I've taken so far, but I wanted to open it up to see if there's anybody who had any comments or questions or had anything else that they wanted to ask me specifically.
And when your chapter meets, it's Thursdays?
It's the first and third Thursday of every month. It meets at noon, so it meets from 12 to 1. There is no lunch served and nobody eats. It's a very structured meeting. It starts on time and it ends on time, and the speeches occur at a certain rate, at a certain part, and they take a certain amount of time. So part of Toastmasters, when you're given an opportunity to speak, you're not given an open-ended invitation to talk forever, right? So you need to know how long you have, and you need to stay within that time.
Let's dovetail with that. What do you hold
you're using,
It keeps getting shorter.
it is getting shorter. I think if you're just using the spoken word, and there's no verbal, or there's no poster board visually, or PowerPoint or anything like that, I would say 10 minutes, if you're on the same topic still, after 10 minutes, people are going to start to lose you. And you really have to work to be engaging. So one of the things you're going to learn in Toastmasters, you need to go around the room and you need to connect with the audience. If you don't look at them, make a point, move on to the next person, talk to that person, move around. If you don't do that, they're looking off over here, they're looking at their phone, they're texting somebody. So you really have to work the room to be effective, especially when people are like texting underneath the table. So if you're really good, maybe you can hold them for forever. But I think if for the average speaker, 10 minutes is probably about the point at which people are going to start to gaze up and to watch Pico traffic go by.
So, as Adam, you said that in terms of what we should watch for ourselves, we should go slow with our name, go slow with our profession, try to connect with everyone. Try not to say
Try not to say. So when you're working on public speaking, obviously using a video camera is great because you can look back. I don't notice the things that I'm doing wrong while I'm up here. I don't notice the ums and the uhs and the no's. With Toastmasters, they inform me at the end of my speech, here's what you have a problem with. You say you say like, people who grew up in the valley like this, like that. So for me, I've learned to pause silently. People feel like in their mind, a few seconds go by, it feels like an eternity when you're the speaker. But to the audience, it's not really a big deal. Pause silently. Use it as an opportunity to transition to a new subject. You don't need to say, hold on a minute, just give me another second. You don't need to say any of that. Just say nothing. Just say nothing. Flip to your page. If you're going to take 30 seconds, people are going to wonder what's going on. But as long as it's within a certain amount of time, you don't need to say, hold on, I'm going to flip to the page. We can see you're flipping to the page. You don't need to tell us about it. So just pause silently. People say, because they're thinking. Just think silently. Don't say anything. So it takes practice, though. I mean, I use uhs and ums and ers, just like everyone else did. But if you look back on this tape, you're probably not going to see too many of them. Because I've learned to eliminate them. And when people tell you every speech you give how many you did and you want to work on them, it re-emphasizes your issues and the exact word that you're using and what you need to work on. So it's very good.
Could you give an example of the agenda of
Sure.